Over
Assembly will do much more better than the Ninth Assembly. Now, looking at the security situation in the country, we're all aware of the major shakeup yesterday, last night in the country, where the service chiefs were retired and new ones were appointed on acting capacity. And to discuss that matter, we are looking at what will be the security situation in the country. What should Nigerians be expecting from this peace? Yes, it is all over the news since yesterday. And from the appointment of this service chiefs, we believe that by now are already in that, okay, they were going to be seeing new things. Because this matters justice to the subject. On this industry, I have to at my far right, our own very personal house. I have Jonathan. I welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians.
And in the middle, I have Peter. I welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for us on the Jonathan, let me start with you. When you heard about this shakeup last night, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
When I saw the news flying around, like you know, it always comes at night, and Nigerians are wondering why Mr. President takes decisions always at night. You know, but away from that, when I saw the news, I think one thing that crossed my mind was it's overdue. We'd have, anticipated that this should have been the first move, maybe the first week and all of that, because after the election, we had some days, even before inaugurations that came in on May 29th. He had a lot of times to have carried out some of those things, and then upon assumption of office, it have hit the ground running, and a lot of things happened. But when I saw it, I say, well, kudos to the S-boys, and congratulations to them. Another thing that crossed my mind also was the rationale behind, change of all the service chiefs at the same time, and I begin to what did be the visit of Asare Tukumbo to the villa that have. Have speed up the fire, or what could have immediately said, oh, all the service chiefs from the police down to all of them, he can mention them, were removed, except that of the DSS, the DGDSS, and that of the NIA, and also the controller of customs and all of that. So a lot of things are, in the minds of Nigerians, but I think I will say it is for the good Nigerians, even though I look at it that professionally, the change of the service chief shouldn't have been immediately for all of them. There should have been steps at a time to see how you look at the agencies, the parastatals, and all of that are under these agencies, and then control them to a better situation than removing all the service chiefs at the same time.
Peter, to you, what was it?
Well, I saw it coming. I saw it coming from the very first day. In fact, on the day of the inauguration, the people that were sitting around me, I told them, I said, this guy should be gone in a few days. And they were like, why do you think so? I said, to start with, they belong to the old stable. And both in performance, both in approach to the job, and even political orientation. I saw the body language of the president, know that it should not be too long, they will be. So I'm not surprised. And like my brother said, he heard it in the night. I didn't hear it in the night, because it's the one news I have been expecting to hear. So as early as 4 p.m. I heard, I said, wow. I'm still expecting more.
Okay, so you heard it even before it came to...
Well, these social media these days have a way of doing these things. I don't know.
Okay, yes, because from last week, that of Nuhu Ribadu has been on social media.
Yeah.
There was the one that was appointment as special advisor. Even before the appointment as special advisor, it's been on social media. Now, looking at the security situation in the country, would you say that this will bring like a sigh of relief, especially to those areas that have been bedeviled by insecurity?
That is where I have my worry. The replacements were a little bit in a hurry. This is my opinion.
But then you said you've been expecting it.
Yes. What I mean the replacement, and not the removal.
Yeah.
A little bit in a hurry because the situations we have requires deep thinking, requires long search for those who can do the job. I don't have any doubt about the capacity of our armed forces. But the problem I have is the policy drive, those who will drive the policy. I'll give you an example. If a chief of army staff, for instance, walks up to the CDS and say, I want to do A, B, C, D, E. Sir, I need your approval. And the CDS says, okay, let me put a call to somebody. And he called those whom he is constitutionally empowered to consult. And they say, please don't do it. I remember at the early days of the Boko Haram, when some elders gathered themselves and went and see the president then, complaining that the army are killing their youths. What were they saying? These are the same youths that are carrying out the insecurity. And their elders are saying, you are killing our youths. Yes, it's true, they are their youths. But at the same time, they are criminals. So that is a thin line that requires deep thinking. That's why I'm saying it will have required very serious search for those who will be able to do this deep thinking. And that is where the position of the CDS, for instance, comes in. It's a strategic policy leader, not a battle leader. That's why in the army we normally refer to them as generals without troops. They are supposed to provide the strategic approach. So for me, the security situation in the country may not witness a serious change. If I were advising the president, for instance, it's not too late to do that search. What the president can do now is to look for 2 or 3 very well experienced and capable consultants. I mean, security consultants, military consultants. Even if you don't get them in the country, go outside, look for them. Put them together in one small room and say, gentlemen, I want you to advise my chiefs on policy direction. It's done everywhere. Even in the business world, it's done everywhere. You look for consultants who can provide you what we call superior argument. They will now be able to call the chiefs to a corner and say, gentlemen, we think you should do it like this, we think you should do it like. And when they present it before the president and he thinks it's expedient, he gives his approval and they go ahead. Because I can tell you that these young men that are coming now are not coming with any bit of experience on the situation on hand.
Yeah.
Coming to start reading the books, to start reading the files, to start looking at faces, to start calling people to say, how did this happen? How did this happen? And that will take a little while. And people are getting killed every day. So that's why I think the president do that, give them that leverage, give them that support to be able to look for people who can give them that background so that they will not spend too long reading the books.
Okay, Jonathan, you share your sentiments on the manner at which they were all replaced at the same time. As a security expert, what would you have advised?
Well, like my senior colleague have just spoken, if I were in a position to advise the president on this way and manner the service chiefs should be removed or all of that, I think the best opinion is to see how to put some of these service chiefs in a position tentatively. even if I'm going to, for example, remove the IGP, I'm going to bring someone like he has done in acting capacity while I'm going on a search. Take, for instance, he did in the case of Noor, who now is the NSC. He brought him to, as a what, special advisor on security. What that means was that he brought him into the corridor to sit down. What I want to do. These are the list, advice in your capacity as a special advisor. Then he has seen that whatever he has in mind, everybody also have the same thinking. And then he now look at it that, okay, having done all of that, you are the coordinating center. You are the NSA. So he just brought him to avoid anybody accusing him that he doesn't know who's sneaking into the presidential villa, just like we have someone like Asai Tokumbo did. He don't want to do so. So he wanted to, bring him on the formal ground that you are special advisor on security, and then advise me in this regard, for which we are going to take decision together. Now, he would have at the same time done the same thing for all the service chiefs. You bring them into the president, and like he said, let there be at least
the newly appointed
service chiefs. Before this appointment, could at least have the political stakeholder. We got that in the 2023 election. We learned that in the 2023 that the placeholder, where there will be no senator, somebody will not contest for a senator, they will go back to the senator ticket. So we had all of that. So you could have done that and say, okay, gentlemen, while you are coming on these sabbatical leaves or whatever you are going to place them, we have to rethink, we have to think deep, we have to understand what we have to do. Meanwhile, as you are coming now, I am going to put this social person in acting capacity, pending your appointment. And then you can then take decision on that and arrive at a point where you know that this person is fit, this person is not fit. Haven't gone through the trainings you wanted them to go, haven't invited the consultant to the villa, and then say this is what you wanted them advice. There are people that will say, no, don't do this, don't do that. Like in the case of the Kaduna Abuja railway attacks, when this happened, they invited some consultants. Where I was privileged to equally submit some, memorandum in that regard, say, look, this is what you ought to have done. And when they look at it, and they say, oh, we have to do this, they say, yes, that's what you're supposed to do from the beginning, from the inception. Even before the starting the operation of the railway, that was not even implemented. We saw how it happened also in Benin. A lot of things will be happening if experts' opinion is not taken into consideration before acting. You will not be taking Panadol after the headache. You understand it?
So there must be an headache for taking Panadol.
There should be headache before taking Panadol. No. When the headache has been healed, you don't begin to take Panadol, or when it has gone expire. I think what we should be looking at. I expect much from the chief of defense staff. You remember, he's coming from the south, from southern Kaduna, where a lot of killings have been ongoing. It will be a shame.
And he was on also him the theater commander of Operation Adankai.
So it will be a shame on him to look at these people being killed. But it's not the first person. We've had some IGs that even came from Nasarawa State, where they are killing their people. They could not do anything. You remember how Irabo was performing at the theater, and then before we know, they appointed him. Where is the zeal to perform again? Nothing. So I think what these people do is like a common flag to do one or two things, do this media publicity, rats to publish to hype them, and after that they give them what they want to give, and then they say, oh, we cannot go back and relax. If not, they're not maintaining the tempo for which they were seen. You understand it? So they feel that, oh, I've come to the to the highest mountain. Kilimanjaro is here. I am. No, I can relax, take my tea, and if they are killing them, oh, may God, they will rest in peace. Here we have the problem. So to avoid, there should be KPI. Are you in me? Now, the Mr. President has looked at it.
KPI, elaborate.
Keep performance indicators or indices. What will keep you in office? Haven't given you the opportunity to be a chief of army staff. Haven't given you opportunity to be in acting capacity like the IGP. Like I told you, they should have even placed them. If I were the one, put all of them in acting capacity and without confirmation. The only thing that's going to make me send you for confirmation is when I see your performance. Are you in me? It happened everywhere, even in my office. If I employ you today as to be my manager or anything, I'm only going to give you that letter. But I'm not going to give you a confirmation. Maybe let me see your performance after 1 year or 2 years. Are you in me? Some persons can even be in acting capacity without confirmation for more than 5 years. Are you in me? But let me see
capacity for more than 5 years.
Depending, because the constitution not guarantee that the period of when you have to.
So if the person, so if the person is,
and I will never allow you to even spend 5 years. If whatever will make you to keep.
Because I was about to ask, why would you keep somebody acting?
I'm only clarifying.
Without confirmation for
only
that
thing
long.
I'm going to make. Sometimes when you give some people confirmation, they relax. I will make you, even when you are performing, to still step on your toes. I will make you so that you have any reasons to relax. Because once you confirm them, they know that all their entitlements are not going to be given them.
Secured.
But in acting capacity, you are going to be, sweating to make sure that you buy my heart. And in doing that, it takes a lot of sacrifices. In doing that, Nigerians must be safe. In doing that, Nigerians must go to bed sleeping. In doing that, the indicators must show that this man has performed credibly well, and he must be given the alternative or must be given all the benefits. It can even be one day to your retirement. I give you, I make your confirmation. Yes, that is how I will do.
What is good about a day to retirement? That is
how good and wicked I will be.
Okay,
good for Nigerians and wicked to the individual.
Let me come to Mr. Peter. Where does this culture of retiring older persons just because they want to upgrade somebody? Because we've seen it happen. New people are coming in, there's a new government, there's going to be replacements, there are going to be changes, and whoop, you see a whole lot of people are being retired. So does it have any negative effect? First of all, how did we come about, how did we come about this? Yeah. Should this be the practice?
No, it shouldn't. I used to call it one of the colonial legacies that we needed to discard. It's a colonial legacy that you work for 35 years, you are kicked out. Those who brought that legacy to us.
In this case, some of the persons, they don't even
get the 35 years.
Get 35 years.
So it's a legacy, it's a negative legacy that have been left behind by the colonial masters. Unfortunately. How many years into independence we have still not been able to wrap our head around what we should be doing? Recently I saw something on the judiciary trying to upgrade the retirement age for judges.
Yes.
That was good. That's the goal. 25. That's when a judge is so rich and so endowed that you can't fault him. It's like bringing a medical doctor who has been in the theater 30 years, and you ask him, what is the meaning of appendix? What is jaundice? A young doctor who is just coming from housemanship, he can mistake appendix for another thing. So I don't think it's a good culture. And to go back to what my brother was saying, when Buhari wanted to make Marwa the NDLA chief, the first thing he did was to set up a company and ask Marwa to go and look at that system and recommend what should be done. By the time Marwa submitted his committee report, the man said, okay, you go ahead and implement your report. I would have been so overwhelmed if the president had set up a key to look at our security and a large committee to look at security situation in the country, craft a way forward, give them 3 weeks to work and give you a report, bring all the CDS together, and these people you want to appoint into the committee as members. You are already sending the time the committee finishes work and they deliver the report. You can now tell them, I want to appoint some of you who deliver this recommendation to drive the recommendation. But by so you will not have left any gap, and you will not have created any situation that will look like we're discussing now. Why is it that you just flush everybody out and bring in fresh hands? Sometimes somebody will say, oh, fresh hands are good, but at the same time, like I said, it is something that that requires some time. Retirement to me is a scam.
Why is it a
A
scam?
big
Everybody
scam.
must retire someday.
A big scam, my dear. I do consultancy on post-retirement training, and I always tell my participants, you have been a waste all your life. It is now that you are the little time you have left. This is when you can be relevant or useful. 35 years of, and then think of it. You left school, you work for government 35 years. You are giving your retirement benefit. You go back to the village and you are drinking tea, waiting for the day you die. What did you contribute? Nothing. Whereas those who have affected humanity in history were never retirees. They were never retired. Is Dangote a retiree?
He is not. Well, he
Is
owns a business.
a retiree? They are affecting the economy seriously. So, our retired generals, where are they? I challenge them to come up and show us how much they have contributed to build Nigeria. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. They're already weak. Like I'm here now, can you ask me to go and climb a 10-story building and jump down now? They're already weak. So your useful and productive age is what you go and waste there in the service of a company or government in waiting for retirement. Now you push these guys out. The British Army or the US Army and see 80 years old generals sitting down policy. Where our own the next thing them doing is carrying a bag and going to politicians to
And some of them start betting. You know, you see them around these
bet
pool houses.
Naija.
Pool houses.
Probably argue,
No,
probably
no,
arguing
no.
at the newspaper stand in the morning.
Okay, gentlemen, we've been discussing the shake-off in the military. It's going to affect the situation in the country. We have a positive outlook. Nigerians are actually by now thinking of some positive things are going to be happening. These gentlemen are here. I have and Peter, they are all security experts, and my co-uncle from Benin also, Philip, would like to ask you some questions. So it is an interesting conversation. Philip, over to you.
Thank you, Charity. My question goes to Peter, the security expert there. Peter, and let's look at what you feel about the new appointment of the service chiefs not having a toga of federal character, like some say. And if we take our minds back to what the president said even before his inauguration, he said that, well, as per appointments, he's not going to rely on unity of government, but competence. So do you see this new appointment as having a toga or wearing a toga of federal character? And should it always be like that? That if there must be appointments, it should be on federal character?
Very much. I think I did not see the CV of the appointees, so I probably may not be able to say too much about their competence. But the president is in the saddle. He sees more, he hears more, he gets the security briefing, and he knows the capacity of those whom he have appointed. But if you ask me, from experience and hindsight of the Nigerian military, I can tell you for free that the gentlemen that have been appointed are, tested soldiers. They can deliver the job. Like I said earlier, it is not the individuals that is the issue here. It is makers and the strategic thinkers that are behind them. Now, as to whether federal character, I am one of those who have never loved the idea of federal. Federal character, as far as I'm concerned, does not grow any nation. It has never developed anybody, even in the family, always look best hand. Why is it that when we are going to play football, we look for the best leg, whether they are from the same mother? We've had situation in this country where in our nation we have 3 brothers coming from the same parents. But when we come to strategic issues that will take the country forward, we are thinking of federal. It's not a matter of federal character. Nigerians, and they are solid brains all over the country. I can tell you that. There is no part of Nigeria where you will say we don't have competence. Competence is everywhere in this country. Sometimes we may even need to even start setting exam for people to be able to get appointed into some of this capacity, because the Nigerians are very, when you go outside the country, you see what Nigerians are doing. Nobody is asking where you come from. And then we hear that Nigerians are making wave outside the country. It's not just one tribe. All over, you see performance, you see skills from all over the country. They are outside doing us proud. But when we come here, we begin to try to say federal character. I am saying, let the best hand do the job.
Okay.
But in the process of looking for them, we can look
Isaac.
across the country. I can tell you that
Yes.
it is not the competence that is our issue. Politicians have to see ourselves as what, and that is why we begin to think of character. I mean, federal character. We begin to think of spread all the time. If somebody is appointed from the best part of the country from my place and is doing a good job, my dear, I think we should give that person that privilege. But we will find ourselves in this embarrassment of always, okay, now if you ask the president, he will let you know that somebody else did it before, so he's not just starting it. But it is not the best way to go. So I'm thinking competence is there. Let the chance do the right thing.
Next question goes to the other security expert, Isaac. And there's been this issue, this burning issue about tackling insecurity headlong. You know, some have said that if they were to tackle insecurity as sincerely, that it won't take more than a week, you know, to flush out, you know, these kidnappers or bandits or terrorists, whatever toga they are hiding in, you know, out of the system. But it takes a whole long time. You know, we spent 8 years of one administration battling with insecurity. Now, what do you see as the major way or the part that the government under Tinubu should go about in tackling insecurity headlong outside this whole issue of changing or rejigging the service chiefs?
All right, it's just about if we have what we'll be able to put a statement that in a week, like you rightly put, a week we'll be able to contribute to national security. Take for instance the issue of sponsors of Boko Haram that have led the past administration, and then glory be to God, the outgone national security advisor will not even, be able to publish the list of the sponsors of Boko Haram that he keeps telling Nigerians for over 8 years. Nothing happened. You know, that is the area we should start tackling the issue of insecurity from. When corruption, systemic and political corruption is not addressed, then how do we begin to tackle the issues of insecurity? Because like I tell you the other time, and like I keep saying, insecurity or whatever terrorism today is known, and at the same time they have breaking into cells. They are broken. We have the leadership cells that have been in support or supporting them financially in every forms, and then we have the tactical cell. If the leadership cell is crippled, the cash flow into the leadership cell's account is crippled, the tactical cells will not have money to purchase the GPMG, the helicopters and all the aircraft that they have been purchasing over the years. Are you in me? And also, we should look at again going forward to see how we can fortify our, because the issues of our border security is one of the major issues that when tackled, then the internal aspect of it can be handled by the police and all of that. But when we keep the border, porous borders and all of that, they will keep going out and bringing some of those things, and we will have no other way to settle or to bring to to a standstill the issues of insecurity. And one of the issues again, which I pray so that it will come to fruition, is the aspect of the National Security Advisor, which I go back again. And now we have a new National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. You know, you will have to take him, you know, a lot of strength to be able to assimilate, to coordinate, and all of that, all these generals and all of that. And like you know his background, he's not in the military. And these have been in the military that once you're not a general, you're not a general. It will be so hard general to come and begin to a policeman, all of that, from his police background. So it is something that His Excellency, the President, President Bola Tinubu Ahmed, we have to put his legs on the ground. That once you disobey my National Security Advisor, you have disobeyed me and you are fired. So once there is this lines, you know, a lot of people will fall into issues of I have to obey the last order. If not, even from the meeting settings, you see that even when the NSA gives certain order, some of the service chiefs who feel like I too know, or he is not up to my level in standards or anything, he's not a general and all of that, we begin to disobey or we will begin to go say otherwise. They're right there in the meeting. And that will equally bring another issue of insecurity. We were in this country where we had some generals compromised. We are in this country where some military persons, some millions were found in their account. Nothing was done. We were in this country where you see that some terrorists were found in some of the senators' house. Nothing happened. So it is this time that we put things at right. If we must get it in 1 week, then we must block their cash flow. Number one, then we must begin to prosecute. And if we must get it right again, and using this medium to also appeal and to also at the same time appeal to our people in the Southeast, our brothers from the Southeast, and very importantly to appeal to Mr. President, because when we talk about insecurity, insecurity is the problem, security is the solution. Are you hearing me? So if we must get that, agitation is also part of insecurity. Look at the sit-home order from the Southeast that have lingered for months or for years now. It's also another part of insecurity. Just like some of the Southeast governors are coming up to say that now we cannot continue like this again, because every Monday they sit at home and killings are going on there. Mr. President must have understanding that agitations are of insecurity. Nnamdi have been in custody even upon or court orders for release. They kept him there for no just cause. If you feel that it's a threat to you, so continue detention is bringing more threat, then you are also part of it, which is the problem. If we must solution, I'm appealing to Mr. President, His Excellency, and the Commander in Forces to grant Nnamdi Kanu out of his amnesty. Since we have people that have been granted amnesty that are still coming to the villages with him, let him also take the courage and also to have meeting with Nnamdi Kanu to understand what the Southeast governors are saying versus what the IPOBs are actually going to release. Nnamdi Kanu today, you may have the Southeast, and this is also coming back again. We should also look at a way to rejig again the security architecture. I don't think that the current security architecture that is in place is enough to mitigate the current challenges. We talk about community policing or state policing, which has to me is overdue. If we must get it right now, we must equally appoint people that understand the news edge of the states, of the locals, of the wards, that knows what happened, that understands who are those that are threats, like identify those that are living with you that are threats and bring them to bear and bring them to expose them. So let us know if we can introduce the issues of state policing, or otherwise let us begin to see a way to reintegrate what we call community neighborhood watch to see where we can equally identify our threats, arrest it or halt it timely, to see how we can begin to bring information from the local government to the state, from state to the federal government. We must have a coordinating center and what we now call chain of commands from the local government to the state down to the federal government to see how we can bring
Besides,
some of those things to bear.
Well, that was a very, very insightful, educative.
Thank you.
I'll take it as your last word. Mr. Peter, your last word.
Straight and cut, the insecurity can, I believe that it can be solved in a jiffy. And the way to solve it in a jiffy, if I were the commander-in-chief, will do what Buhari did to us when he was the military head of state. When he came in, there was a Matasini, in the Matasini in Kano. He just came in one morning and said, I'm giving you 2 weeks. I don't want to hear anything Matasini anymore. Don't tell me you don't have capacity. After 2 weeks, if you don't clear them, I will replace you. And he walked away. And in 2 weeks, they were cleared. And that was the end of it. Though the President Tinubu is a civilian, but he can still talk authoritatively and say, gentlemen, I'm giving you 1 month. If I hear killings again, you are out.
Well, thank you very much. We've been discussing the military, the replacement of the service chiefs, and with me discussing this matter, doing subject to this topic, it's been Jonathan Isaac, a security expert, and also a security expert. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the program. At this, we're going over to our Benin Network Center, where the discussion will continue on this program this morning on ITV.